A stranger has sent you money, it's a big amount, open now or lose your money. Before you close this or look away, pause for just a moment. There is a reason your eyes stopped here. Not by accident. Not by chance. There is a quiet pull in your spirit right now, a feeling you cannot fully explain, like someone gently calling your name from behind a veil. You have felt this before, late at night, when your heart was tired and your mind was heavy. That same feeling is here again. Listen carefully. I am speaking to you softly, not to scare you, not to rush you, but to wake something inside you that has been sleeping for a long time. What you read at first sounded strange, even unbelievable. A stranger. Money. A large amount. It almost feels like a trick, doesn't it? Like one of those things you learn to ignore to protect yourself. And yet, your heart did not fully reject it. Something in you stayed still. Something whispered, wait. I am that whisper. I am the one who has been with you in moments when no one else knew what you were carrying. I saw you smile when your heart was breaking. I saw you calculate every expense, even the smallest ones, while telling others you were fine. I saw the nights you lay awake thinking about how everything became so hard, so fast, and how you never asked for much, only enough to breathe without fear. You have been surviving for so long that receiving feels dangerous to you now. When help comes, you question it. When ease approaches, you tense up. You learn to live in defense mode, always preparing for loss, disappointment, or silence. And because of that, blessings have sometimes had to knock louder to get your attention. This message feels loud because it must be. Not to frighten you, but to break through the fog of doubt you have wrapped around your hopes. You have been praying, sometimes with words, sometimes without them. Sometimes it was just a sigh, a tear, or a tired thought that said, I can't do this alone anymore. Those prayers did not vanish into nothing. They were gathered carefully. Every one of them. There are moments in life when help does not come through familiar hands. It does not wear a face you recognize. It does not come with explanations that make sense immediately. Sometimes, help arrives disguised as something unexpected, even suspicious to the mind, but calm to the soul. You are standing at one of those moments now. I know your thoughts. You are wondering why a stranger would do this. You are thinking about risks, about loss, about being fooled again. Your past experiences taught you to be cautious, and that caution once protected you. But now, it is also blocking the door to something meant to reach you. This is not about greed. This is not about chasing money. This is about timing, alignment, and provision. You have been stretched thin. Not just financially, but emotionally. You gave when you had little. You stayed honest when shortcuts were offered. You chose integrity even when it cost you comfort. And there were days you wondered if doing the right thing even mattered anymore. It did. What is coming is not a reward for perfection. It is support for endurance. You were not meant to carry everything alone forever. There are seasons when strength is built through struggle, and there are seasons when relief arrives so the soul can rest. You are entering a season where relief is allowed. This is why hesitation feels heavy right now. Because part of you knows that if you receive this, something changes. Not just your balance, but your belief. And belief is powerful. Belief shifts identity. Belief makes you realize you are not forgotten. I am not telling you to act from panic. I am telling you to act from presence. Be aware. Be calm. Be grounded. Fear rushes. Peace is steady. You have lost money before. You have trusted people who disappointed you. You have been promised things that never came. Those memories are real, and they shaped you. But they are not the authors of your future. This moment is not repeating the past. It is responding to it. There are times when the universe, when heaven, when unseen hands move people you will never meet to become channels. Not because you are special above others, but because you were positioned to receive at this exact time. There are moments when the surface of your life feels calm, routine, and almost uneventful, the kind of days that slip through your fingers like water. You check your messages, see a transaction here, a notification there, a number that either matches expectations or doesn't. It all seems ordinary, but somewhere below the surface, something larger is at work. What looks like coincidence is sometimes choreography. What feels like random timing is often the quiet alignment of unseen forces moving gently in your favor. You may not understand the full reason today. You might glance at a number, receive an email, or hear a small piece of news, something that doesn't seem significant at first, and yet it stirs something in you. A whisper, an echo, a soft reminder that you are supported, that you are seen, that your prayers were heard even when you weren't sure they were still leaving your lips. Sometimes the divine does not speak in fireworks or miracles. It speaks through algorithms, through people, through transactions, through timing that feels suspiciously kind. You have been asking for a sign quietly, perhaps even timidly. Not because you doubt entirely, but because you have grown cautious with hope. You have learned how hope can hurt when it rises too high and crashes against reality. So you've whispered your requests softly, tucked between sighs, framed not as demands but as gentle wonderings. If I am still guided, you say in your heart, show me, but please, gently. And today might be that gentle sign. Not thunder, not lightning, not something that others would point at and call miraculous. But a private sign, a personal message, something that lands only with you because only you will recognize its meaning. This is the kind of moment that doesn't wait forever. Opportunities aligned by grace or timing are like brief openings in the clouds. They are not threats, but invitations. Not ultimatums, but doorways. When the window opens, it asks for your awareness more than your perfection. It doesn't stay open out of cruelty, it closes out of rhythm, because all things move in cycles. The current that brought this moment close will shift again. Blessings don't disappear. They evolve, they find their way back in other forms, but they might not look the same, and they rarely return at the exact moment we wish they would. That's why presence matters. Now matters. Awareness matters. And right now, you do need it. You need the reassurance that you are allowed to exhale. That life does not have to be a constant uphill climb where effort is the only currency and rest feels like luxury. You have been holding yourself together with sheer willpower, patching over your cracks with determination, carrying responsibilities that never seem to lighten. You have delayed your own peace, postponed joy, told yourself you'll breathe deeply only when things feel safer, when stability finally arrives and the unknown stops chasing you. But stability has been taking its time. It's been slow, unpredictable, just out of reach, while exhaustion has been quick, heavy, and insistent. This isn't about sudden wealth or instant abundance. This is about relief, the kind that allows your shoulders to drop for the first time in months. It's about paying the bill that has been hanging over you, or finding rest after countless restless nights where numbers, deadlines, and doubts spin around your mind like unending storms. It's about walking into your home and feeling that, for once, tension isn't the first thing that greets you. Sometimes, divine generosity doesn't come as grandeur. Sometimes, it's the small reprieve that keeps you from breaking. You are allowed that. You have always been allowed that. But somewhere along the way, you began to believe that ease was earned only through suffering, that rest had to be justified, that goodness must be compensated by effort. That belief came from a lifetime of endurance, from classrooms, from workplaces, from heartbreaks, where your value was measured by how much you could carry and how little you asked for. But the soul does not measure worth like that. To the divine, to the unseen love that moves through your life, you were never asked to prove yourself by pain. You were only asked to remain open, to trust that being held is not the opposite of strength, but an extension of it. Even now, there is a voice in you that whispers, "Why me?" You think it questions possibility, but really it expresses grief, grief from years of feeling overlooked, unchosen, waiting in lines of fate that seem to move faster for everyone else. That voice is tender, not cynical. It has been guarding you, protecting you from disappointment by shrinking your expectations. But now it's safe to let that voice soften. It can rest. You have learned its lessons. You no longer need to anticipate loss to survive it. You do not need to prove your worthiness anymore. You do not need to keep suffering as if comfort were suspicious or temporary. Be wise, of course, wisdom is your anchor in an uncertain world. But don't let caution turn into closure. Don't let the fear of being wrong stop you from being available to what might be right. Check the facts, yes. Verify. Move with awareness, not blindness. But move. Because fear freezes. Clarity moves. Wisdom listens and acts, not impulsively, but consciously. I am not shouting at you from the sky. I am not demanding that you leap without looking. I am sitting beside you, as a presence quiet but strong, resting a gentle hand on your shoulder. I am asking only this: do not turn away from good things just because they feel unfamiliar. You have learned to recognize danger better than you recognize safety. You have trained your instincts to detect disappointment faster than joy. But the same sensitivity that once protected you can now guide you toward trust if you let it. Sometimes your intuition, when healed from fear, becomes the same voice that leads you out of survival. You have carried so much. Perhaps more than anyone realizes. You've endured seasons that you didn't speak of, battles behind closed doors, decisions made out of necessity rather than choice, nights where faith felt like a brittle thread. You built resilience, yes. But even resilience can harden if never softened by receiving. You have mastered survival, now your soul asks to learn receiving. And receiving is harder than it sounds. It asks for vulnerability. It asks you to admit you cannot do everything alone. It asks for the humility to let the universe assist you, to let people care for you, to let small coincidences bless you without immediately questioning their legitimacy. There is courage in that. In letting something help you without first proving that you deserve it. There's courage in not walking away when things start to go right. You have become so used to adapting to chaos that calm feels suspicious. But peace is not a test. Peace is an answer. And if you walk away now, telling yourself it's wisdom to protect yourself, that may comfort you temporarily. But the wondering will follow you. You'll find yourself replaying this moment in quiet hours, asking what might have unfolded if you'd looked twice instead of assuming once. That wondering, that what if, weighs heavier over time than the brief risk of opening your heart consciously. You aren't being pushed into danger. This isn't about recklessness or blind faith. This is about balance, to neither rush nor shut down, but to stand steady enough to see clearly what is unfolding before you. I am not here as pressure. I am here as presence. I am not trying to make you act out of emotion. I am reminding you of the alignment that quietly arranged for this moment to appear just when you were beginning to lose hope that anything could shift. There is a version of you on the other side of this, not a stranger, but a lighter self, one who breathes differently, who doesn't wake up clenched, whose inner monologue has softened from panic to prayer, from urgency to trust. That version of you does not exist in a faraway timeline, it's simply waiting for you to take one calm, conscious step toward relief. That self is not fantasy. It's the result of allowing yourself help without suspicion. It's what happens when you remember that grace isn't a resource that runs out. Take a breath here. Feel how the air comes without asking anything of you. That is the nature of divine provision. You don't earn oxygen. You simply receive it because existence itself already approves of you being here. The same principle applies to the other forms of help awaiting you. You won't have to prove anything to be eligible for the next stage of ease. You only have to stay open long enough to recognize the hand extended toward you. Help does not always look the way you expect. Sometimes it comes from people you least anticipated, sometimes through numbers, transactions, or emails that feel almost too coincidental to be random. The divine works through the language of your daily life. It hides answers in plain sight because you are more likely to believe in what feels familiar. That's how grace disguises itself, as practicality. So when help arrives in a form that looks ordinary, don't dismiss it. Miracles often wear mundane clothes. Let yourself breathe again. Let your shoulders drop. Feel the air fill your lungs slowly, deliberately, as if for the first time in months. You have walked through long corridors of uncertainty, those dim, echoing hallways where every step felt tentative, where the walls seemed to close in just a little more with each passing day. But doors are opening now. Real ones. Not the grand, dramatic portals of storybooks, but quiet, unassuming doors that swing inward without a sound. They open subtly, with precision, as if someone on the other side has been waiting for exactly this moment to turn the handle. This is not about fantasy. It's not about wishing on stars or forcing outcomes through sheer willpower. It's about alignment, the gentle, almost imperceptible shift where your inner world begins to mirror the possibilities waiting outside. It's about the internal permission you finally grant yourself to let things get easier without guilt. For so long, you've carried the belief that ease must be earned through struggle, that relief comes only after exhaustion proves your worthiness. But ease is not a reward for suffering, it's a natural state that returns when resistance softens. You've been clenching, holding, bracing against the unknown. Now, the invitation is to release, just a fraction at first, enough to feel the difference. You are not alone. You never were. Even in the deepest silence, when the night stretched endlessly and your thoughts circled like restless birds, there was presence. Even when everything felt silent, when your prayers felt like echoes bouncing back from an empty space, they were registering somewhere, vibrationally, energetically, lovingly. Every whispered plea, every silent tear, every moment you forced yourself to keep going despite the ache, they all landed. They were heard, not in the way human ears hear words, but in the way the universe hears intention. The delay was not denial. It was preparation. Think of it like a gardener tending soil in winter. Nothing visible happens above ground, yet roots deepen, nutrients gather, the foundation strengthens for what will bloom in spring. The support you asked for was not denied, it was being timed. Timing is everything in this intricate dance of life. You've likely experienced moments where things arrived too early and felt burdensome, or too late and seemed irrelevant. But now, the timing clicks. The window opens. The alignment whispers, now. Here. Look. It's a soft voice, not a thunderclap. It doesn't demand attention, it invites it. And in that invitation lies freedom, no pressure to seize, only the opportunity to notice. Do not rush. Do not panic. Just notice. Let awareness lead the way. Rushing comes from fear, from the old habit of believing that if you don't act quickly, everything will slip away. But what is truly yours cannot slip away, it waits patiently until you're ready to receive it. Panic clouds vision, turns possibilities into threats. Instead, look with calm eyes, not desperate ones. Calm eyes see clearly, the subtle signs, the gentle nudges, the quiet confirmations. Desperate eyes scan for danger, for proof that it's all too good to be true. Awareness sees truth, while fear sees only danger. Awareness will tell you if something is right for you, without shouting, without confusion, just through a peaceful certainty that feels like, yes, this is what I asked for. It's a knowing in the body, a settling in the chest, a quiet exhale that says, finally. You have carried enough weight for too long, emotional, financial, spiritual, and unseen. The emotional weight of unspoken grief, of relationships that demanded more than they gave, of loving deeply in a world that sometimes forgets reciprocity. The financial weight of making ends meet, of stretching resources thin, of wondering if stability would ever feel real. The spiritual weight of questioning, of holding faith through doubt, of feeling disconnected yet continuing to reach anyway. And the unseen weight. The invisible burdens of responsibility, of being the one others lean on, of protecting your inner world from further bruising. You've been both the giver and the guardian of your world. You've poured out energy, time, care, often receiving little in return. You've stood watch over dreams, over loved ones, over your own fragile hope. But even the strongest trees bend occasionally to let the wind pass through them. That's how they survive storms, by allowing motion, not resisting it. Rigidity breaks, flexibility endures. You don't have to be unshakable to be safe. You only need to be rooted and willing to sway. Your roots are deep, forged in trials, nourished by resilience, anchored in quiet strength. Now, allow the sway. Let the winds of change move through without fighting every gust. And so, here you are, standing at another moment of choice. These moments come repeatedly, disguised as ordinary days, as chance encounters, as unexpected messages. You can turn away, tighten your armor, and call it caution. Armor has served you well, it protected you when vulnerability felt too risky. Caution kept you safe when trust had been betrayed. But armor grows heavy over time, restricts movement, isolates. Or you can breathe, stay present, and see what unfolds. Not recklessly, but openly. Openness doesn't mean throwing caution entirely to the wind, it means discerning with softness. It means allowing possibility while honoring your wisdom. Remember, help arriving is not a sign of weakness. It's the evidence of connection. The threads you've been weaving through prayer, hope, and persistence are now being tugged from the other side by grace itself. Those threads are invisible yet strong. Spun from late-night conversations with the divine, from moments of surrender, from refusing to bitterness despite disappointment. Grace doesn't wait for perfection, it responds to persistence, to the heart that keeps knocking even when the door seems locked. Alignment means cooperation, not control. Control exhausts because it requires constant effort, constant vigilance. Cooperation flows, it's a partnership where you do your part, showing up, staying aware, taking aligned steps. And the universe does its part, orchestrating details beyond your view. It means meeting the universe halfway, you take the step, and the path appears. You voice the need, and the provision arranges itself. You release the grip, and what's meant to stay remains. You may think this message is coincidence. You may think it's just words on a screen, random and impersonal. But you know, somewhere in your chest, that this is the reminder you needed. There's a stirring, a resonance, a tear threatening or a sigh releasing. It touches something tender because it echoes what you felt but couldn't quite name. It doesn't promise perfection, no life is without contrast, but it offers pause. A moment of recognition that something unseen has been working quietly, gently, faithfully for your good. While you slept, worried, worked, wept, something larger was arranging pieces, removing obstacles, preparing people and places. Let ease enter. Let assistance arrive. Let yourself feel gratitude without guilt. Gratitude without guilt is revolutionary for those accustomed to struggle. We're taught that joy must be justified, that rest must be earned, that receiving diminishes worth. But true gratitude flows freely when we understand that we are part of a benevolent whole. You have earned nothing, because grace isn't earned, but you have allowed this moment by surviving, by asking, by refusing to let despair fully close your heart. Survival itself is an act of faith. Asking is courage. Keeping the heart open, even cracked, is profound strength. Take another breath. stay calm. Look again, with softness, not suspicion. Suspicion scans for flaws, for hidden motives, for the inevitable catch. Softness sees potential, sees kindness, sees the gift beneath the wrapping. Life is extending a hand, perhaps through a person, an opportunity, a resource, a feeling of peace that arrives unannounced. You don't have to grasp it tightly. Clenching comes from fear of loss. You just have to acknowledge it's there. A simple, thank you, a quiet, I see, an inner nod of acceptance. And that, sometimes, is enough to change everything. Because sometimes, the miracle is not loud or spectacular. It's subtle. It's functional. It's timely. It's practical. It's the phone call that comes at the right moment, the door that opens when you're ready to walk through, the bill paid unexpectedly, the connection that feels like home. It's the answer to a prayer you've whispered too softly for others to hear but loudly enough for the divine to respond. Those soft whispers carry farthest in the realms that matter. They bypass ego, bypass performance, and reach the essence. Breath by breath, this is your sign, the quiet affirmation that you are supported, guided, and never forgotten. Each inhale reminds you of life force flowing in. Each exhale releases what no longer serves. In this rhythm, support reveals itself. Guidance appears as intuition, as synchronicity, as unexpected clarity. Remembrance comes as peace settling over old wounds. This moment is alignment. Let it meet you where you are, tired, hopeful, skeptical, relieved, all of it. You don't have to tidy up your emotions or present a polished version of yourself. Alignment meets messiness with compassion. Let it carry you, even for a little while. You've carried enough. Carried others, carried dreams, carried the weight of what-ifs and should-haves. Now allow grace to carry you. Imagine being lifted gently, the burden lightening, the path smoothing not because obstacles vanish but because your capacity expands. As you move forward, carry this knowing lightly. When doubt creeps in, and it will, because old patterns die slowly, return to breath. Return to noticing. Return to softness. The doors that have opened won't slam shut because you hesitate. True openings wait. They expand as you approach. What's aligned grows clearer with presence, dimmer with force. In the days ahead, you might notice small shifts, conversations that flow easily, ideas that arrive fully formed, rest that comes without restlessness. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. They are the universe saying, yes, we're here. Yes, you're seen. Yes, keep going. Celebrate them quietly, no need for fanfare. A smile, a journal entry, a shared moment with someone who understands. And when larger shifts come, the opportunities, the resolutions, the healings, receive them with the same quiet gratitude. No need to justify or explain. Simply allow. Allowing is the key that turns possibility into reality. It's the yes spoken inwardly that echoes outwardly. You've walked far. You've endured much. You've grown in ways unseen even to yourself. Now, the season shifts.